Hello math students. Today we're going to learn the meaning of fractions. When you take a whole and you divide it into equal pieces, each one of those pieces represent a fraction of the whole. So to begin with, when we look at the circle, it is divided into 4 equal pieces. It's divided in red, green, yellow, and blue. And each one of those colors represent 1/4 of the whole circle. Now, when you write a fraction, you put the part of the whole on top in the numerator spot. Then you will put how many pieces the whole thing is cut into on the bottom. Like the previous picture we had, 1/4, that would be like red over 4 pieces in the whole thing. So your numerator tells how many pieces you are talking about, and the denominator, the bottom of the fraction, tells how many pieces the whole thing is cut into. Now let's look at another example. How many pieces is this one divided into? 5. So your denominator, your bottom number, is 5. Now if we're talking about yellow, we would talk about 1/5. If we're talking about purple, we're talking about 1/5 of the whole thing. But what if we're talking about green and yellow? How many fifths are we talking about? Right, we're talking about 2/5. Now, one thing you have to remember, and don't ever forget it, is when you're talking about fractions, all of the pieces have to be equal. If they're not equal, you're going to have to do some more dividing to make the pieces all the same size. Look at this picture of this cake. Are the pieces equal? No, so you can't say that both pieces are 1/2 of the whole, because they're not. So how can you divide this into equal pieces? How much of the whole cake is missing? Somebody came along, you know, that guy at the beginning of this podcast, he was eating a piece of cake with candles on it. I bet he's the one that ate this. But how can we make them the same size piece? Absolutely right. We can cut the other piece in half. Then how many pieces would the whole thing be cut into? Oh yes, it would be 4. So 1/4 of this cake is missing. So we had to divide the cake into equal pieces before we could name the fraction of what was missing. Now, this next example, you have different colors. You have green and yellow and purple, and you have orange. Are they cut into equal pieces? No. So how in the world are you going to take this and cut it into equal pieces? Oh, you're so good. We're going to divide some more. We have to divide the purple into how many pieces? Okay, what about the orange? It's a great old big piece. How many pieces do you think that we'll have to cut it into? Okay, let's try it and see what we come up with. Okay, when I tried, I come up with a total of 16 pieces. I had to cut the pink into 2, the yellow into 2, and the purple into 3, and the orange into 6. So the whole thing would be 16 pieces. 2/16 of the pink, 2/16 of the yellow, and 6/16 of the orange, 3/16 of the purple. Now, what do you think about this guy with his hands up? What do you think that kid with his hand up is going to be saying to the teacher? Oh, you're absolutely right. He's going to say those fraction pieces are not equal, so they're going to have to do some more dividing. Now I'd like for you to take a moment and look at all these fractions on this page and name as many as you can, because this is really good practice. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you in class.